I think he's done.
I broke my headphones.
Oh no!
I didn't. Welcome to But Suddenly. I'm Luke. This is my show. I made all of this. It's about me. Suddenly there was Luke. Suddenly he was handsome. Wishful thinking. Yeah, let's roll.
Nicely done, buddy. That was not bad. Good instincts.
Impressive, yeah. It was intense for a second there.
Yeah. There was like I could see the fight or flight response. And flight
It's
one.
almost like that was what my intro was all about. I had about 3 different things that I was potentially going to do, and that was not one of them.
It's really like it's. I have no ideas. You guys are there like, oh yeah, I've got ideas just in case it lands on me. I have nothing.
You almost
got
got treated to gassing with Gandalf. Something I may or may not have been preparing for a little while.
Fair enough.
Is that like a one-man show?
It's a one-man show where I pretend to be Gandalf the Grey and have a chat about the other members of the Fellowship from Lord of the Rings.
I mean, let's do that instead.
Bitch about them. I've been ready for that.
Scrap the show. I even had fake hair as well.
Impressive.
Lovely. I like it.
Welcome back.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Feels like it's been a while, hasn't it?
Always feels like it's been a while now. I don't know why. It feels like forever now. I don't know why.
Just like the weird sort of memory of a fever dream from whatever the last script was.
Yeah.
Which in this case was Iolo's lovely script.
Which I got to do like, I literally kind of passed the buck onto you, Phil. So I apologize for that. I got you to read mine.
Oh, yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, no, I quite enjoyed that actually. It was all right. Kind of like a blowout for the debonair character, wasn't it?
Yeah. Try to bow him out gracefully because maybe we can see what we can do without Debonair. And then this episode is going to be all about Debonair now. No, it's not. But welcome back.
I mean, I don't know if there is a joke about it on the front page of Burge's script, which is amazing. It's a great joke, Burge.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
That's a callback to off-screen.
Yeah. Call back to off-screen conversations. Welcome to But Suddenly. That's the kind of thing we do.
It's all about inclusivity.
So episode 18, and we were just figuring out that it's been a year. So.
Luke's left. I mean, I feel like every time Luke just leaves, we should do something. And I think it's really funny, the idea that he will never know about something we do. Never mind.
Yeah, he's back. He's back, don't worry.
No.
Yeah. He's
back. Welcome back. I don't suppose we need a recap, realistically.
What's the point at this stage? I don't remember what happened.
I feel like it'd be a challenge.
Well, I feel as has been recent tradition, is if maybe Burge can kind of give us the context for where he was coming from for the script. Maybe.
Yep.
What
so
is the
good idea.
Where we are.
So yeah, as we said, Iolo tried to sort of bow out the Debonair. I say try to. I mean, did successfully bow out the Debonair character, and brought back the 5 who were the original kind of characters in Adam's first script. Were all scattered, and so he's brought them back together, so they're united once again, along with a cat person narrator who narrates worlds, fictional worlds, but also real worlds, and we were characters for a while.
Don't worry about it.
But at the end of the last episode, the 5 were reunited in Ellie's apartment. That's where it.
Yeah.
That's where it leaves off. That's where I've started.
Yes. Perfect. That's all you need to know. Essentially, the 5 are back. We've spent 18 episodes and we're back to where we started to a certain degree, but in a good way, I think. It's nice
Very
to
good
see
way.
them all. I was really, even when I was writing it, I was really quite excited to have Ted, Aaron, because I feel like Aaron got done dirty. And,
Well, I'm sorry.
Phil. And yeah, everyone's back now, which is nice. Dr. L is present in his
He's not back.
his
He is, but he
ghostly
isn't.
form ish. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We're trying something different this time, and I'm really grateful for it.
Probably none of it matters.
I'm grateful for that.
Just a prediction for the script. Not that you got any insight or anything.
I like off-screen Burge texted us saying, "Do you mind if we do it? Mind if I do anything different?" And I was so excited. There's this little moment. Was it? But I think it was you, Adam, that said during your script, you was like, "I've gone a bit off field with this one." I was like, I'm so happy. It's where I'm most comfortable is when we're just
Any kind of message like that is always this is going to be good.
This
Yeah,
is
I
always
know,
the
it's
challenge. The challenge of the
awesome.
concept for me, because it's kind of always meant to be your own thing, I guess. But you're also supposed to be carrying on the cliffhanger that was left before. But I think it's more fun and it's more in keeping with the original idea. It's kind of just taking a sharp right turn every single time.
100%.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
It was the original concept. We in our pitch meeting, we were saying it can go space because I think Adam said that it doesn't even have to stay with these 5. You can talk about the bus driver, and the amount of times I've almost written the bus driver episode.
Same. Every time it's come back round to my turn, I'm like, fucking bus driver, and then
I know, yeah. I promised myself, by the way, myself for next time.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna.
Interesting you say that, guys.
Oh, lovely! I love it.
exciting.
I've promised myself, and I want you guys to hold me to this. This is a promise I'm going to make on stream, so that everyone out there can hold me to it. I'm gonna next one. I'm not gonna do anything bananas. I mean, I was looking through all my old episodes, and I'm like, I've always done something a bit banana. I'm just gonna carry on the episode next time. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take it to a nice narrative place that suits it and goes to the next episode. Cut
We'll
to
see.
me introducing
see.
something completely bananas.
Smash cut.
A being made of jam, and I'm like, shit.
But he's got
okay,
a normal, really mundane job. He's just like
yeah. He just goes to work. Goes to his accounting firm. Jammy. His name's Philip Jam.
Right, stop before you get yourself all excited and actually just fucking go ahead with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
I wrote
have,
the series.
I'll have 50
12
pages
episodes.
done by next week. Guys, can we read my jam story?
It's a world
yeah.
of jam. Let's do it.
so,
Let's do it.
Should we dive in?
hit it, yeah. Luke, hit us with a sound, bro.
Nom, nom,
Never
nom,
mind.
nom, nom.
It was a really quick one. I forgot that the transition now is just this. Wait. I did you a dirty. Do it now.
Nom, 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 nom.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you very much. Oh, and I'm going to do this on stream because who cares? Burge needs to be at the top. So I'm going to literally do this now. I don't care.
Behind the curtain.
I'm brave. I don't give a flip.
Like the end of She-Hulk.
Bosh. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't drag on for half an hour. Ooh.
Slammed.
Didn't
Shots
steal from
fired.
our own podcast and
Cross Shield.
stream.
Yeah, 100%. Marvel writers are watching.
Yeah, they stole from us, 100%.
100%. I'm seeing the word debonair a lot now, and I'm feeling like there's going to be a fucking film about a character called Debonair. I'm so pissed off. Hey,
You got anything lined up, though?
Sorry.
You've been speaking to some people?
My agent's got to speak to kind of putting something together. Just working out the terms.
Just sometime on Twitter soon, like a trailer's going to drop for the Debonair musical that we all wanted to write. Starting film.
He's wearing a cape.
Purple velvet cape.
Didn't I tell you about the Debonair?
Oh, did I? Oh.
Starting on Broadway next week.
Yeah. Straight to Broadway.
It's not the Debonair would want it.
It is.
Onward.
We get into it. Let's do it.
Already?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. But suddenly, episode 18, the Debonair's no, that's a joke. That was the joke. Laugh. And now for something slightly different. Previously on But Suddenly, interior Ellie's apartment, day. Ellie bursts through her apartment door. A robot dog, Winston, and a spectral Dr. L by her side. What is it, boy? This is just my apartment. I thought you said you'd found... Ellie looks up to see a group stood idle in her flat.
Good to see you, El. Got your messages.
Open your mind, shot off a bit of lavender around the place. Smelled a bit stale, I say.
Aaron enters through the bathroom.
Good sized bath you've got, Ellie. Would be a lovely little place to just be for no reason, just sitting there.
Aaron bumps past Zeep, who's carefully studying a photograph.
I had foreseen your arrival, Ellie. It's a pleasure to see you once more.
Ellie smiles. The group all look to their side in unison.
Who's the cat?
Kit and the Debonair sit against the wall beside the TV. Kit stares wide-eyed at the five. He's seriously fangirling. The Debonair, tied up tightly in rope with tape over his mouth, has a small note pinned to his shirt. It reads, "Run out of ideas. Sorry. Good luck, guys. Yalsy." When suddenly, Ramon says what they're all thinking.
What the absolute fuck just happened?
Cut to exterior, Royal French Village, day. A hauntingly quiet village, or what used to be a village 200 years ago, but is now just a collection of large, ivy-ridden houses. There is a church and town hall and a narrow road that passes through the centre of the village. A few birds tweet, leaves rustle, and the odd car passes by the nearby road. Basically, there's fuck all going on. Except, now there is a low rumbling sound, gradually getting louder and disturbing the peace of the village. A large silver bus, completely at odds with its surroundings, pulls into the village and stops. So there's a bit of like me speaking, but then I don't have many speaking parts because it's just everyone will get bored of my voice. Interior silver bus, day. Inside the bus, the windows are darkened and a mirrored wall blocks the driver from passenger view or contact. Not that that matters currently, as the bus is completely empty. Interior driver's cabin, day. The driver sits at the wheel. She's a 40-year-old woman with a blonde undercut, tattoos and dark shades. One look at her and you'd instantly know that she'd beat the ever-licking crap out of you with both hands tied behind her back. Think Imperator Furiosa. She speaks into a mobile phone.
Look.
I'm here.
Oh.
That's a choice.
Sorry, I read ahead. I read that the sentence that was slightly ahead. I'm here. Sorry.
It's more
I read
like
it and
she's
just
a badass.
She's about
Just like the yeah. Perfect.
It's good energy.
We hear a very serpent-like voice on the other end of the phone.
See, that's what I read, and then I was like, all of a sudden.
Excellent. Thanks for just completely ruining that line for me, Luke.
Go do it again, y'all. Do it again. Got time for that.
Excellent.
Who's the hands?
The driver hangs up the phone. She lights a cigarette and notices the phone ringing again. Unknown number. She picks up.
I wasn't done.
I'm not going to be able to get through it.
Famously handsy snakes.
I know. very handy. This is
The driver is impassive. She holds the phone away from her ear while the laughing continued, taking long, slow drags on the cigarette. After another couple of minutes, the laughing stops.
Okay, now I'm done.
Thanks. No reason for that character.
Love it. I'm happy with that.
We hear the call ended tone. The driver looks at the phone and then pockets it. She exits the bus. Exterior rural French village, day. A couple of bemused villagers stand on the road looking up at the bus. As the driver steps down off the bus, they approach her.
Bonjour, bienvenue dans notre village. Êtes-vous pardon?
The driver walks past them without a second glance.
No.
C'est vulgaire.
Avez-vous besoin d'aide? L'église est très belle. Elle a marié des informations sur le village. Nous sommes heureux de vous aider avec quoi? Avec quoi? Que ce soit? Demandez-nous n'importe quoi. Jesus.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Way to French, Phil.
I'm sorry.
Apologise.
Oh dear. I feel like I need another run at that, but we'll park that.
The driver stops walking, her back to the villagers. She pauses for a moment and then turns towards them. She pulls out a thick wad of euros and hands it to them. Then she points at the bus, signals to her mouth, and then wags her finger.
Nay, pow, pa.
The villagers look at each other, as if to say, we're happy to accept your money and not talk about the bus, but it's a giant silver bus in the middle of nowhere. It's hardly incongruous. Instead, they just shrug, Frenchly. Bleh. With her unwanted transaction over with, the driver walks on through the village. She passes the church and the town hall, and then turns down a leafy path, overgrown with old trees and bushy hedgerows. Partway down the path is a large chateau set behind an open gate. A sign reads, Les Chateaux de la Rouge Poisson. The driver enters the house. Interior chateau hallway, day. The chateau is decorated with lots of dark wood and antique furniture, expensive rugs and other such finery. The sound of raised voices can be heard from another room.
Well, what are we supposed to do now?
Brian?
We ruddy well wet.
And what are we supposed to do while we wait?
They'll be here soon, and it'll be all cleared up. Don't worry.
More voices are heard chiming in and talking over one another until they're indecipherable. The driver sighs and then walks through a large oak door toward the voices. Interior chateau drawing room, day. A large living room in a posh house. There are wingback chairs facing an open fire, a rich mahogany table with a card game spread out on it, and two sofas facing each other. 12 figures abruptly stop talking as the driver enters the room. Some are sitting and others stand. Cyril Basingstoke, a posh elderly gentleman with bushy sideburns, wearing a tweed jacket with a pinny apron over the top, walks towards the driver with his hand outstretched. He's one of those elderly men whose poshness seems to keep them alive.
Oh, there you are. Speak of the ruddy Le Diable. Cyril Basingstoke, propertier, and live in Gouvernon au Le Château de la Rouge Poisson. A pleasure.
Thanks. We see several of the French guests visibly pained by each of Cyril's French words. The driver snubs his handshake.
Where is it?
Man sat in one of the wingback chairs by the fire wipes a tear from his eye and looks angrily at the driver. This is George Townsend, a 30-something man wearing a crisp Ralph Lauren polo shirt.
That's my husband you're talking about.
Now, George. I'm sure it was just a slip of the old langue.
Cyril leans in a little closer to the driver.
Go easy on the chap, would you? He's just lost his parentaire, for goodness sake. I think we'd all be feeling a little délicatement in the circumstances.
A woman wearing a long coat shakes her head despairingly. This is Florence Desjardins, a stylish 20-something French woman, seemingly unfazed by whatever has happened in the chateau.
Must you insist on butchering our language?
I'm just trying to throw myself into the culture française.
I must say, you're not what I was expecting.
The driver turns to see a tiny 6-year-old woman looking up at her. Beryl Bainbridge is wearing a floral robe and silk scarf and squints through a pair of glasses so thick they could pass for binoculars.
For one thing, I was expecting an enormous moustache.
The driver ignores Beryl and looks back to the group more generally.
Where is
Different character.
he? Oh.
Yeah. I know it's you twice, sorry.
Where is he?
George scowls from his seat and turns back to face the fire. A woman in the wingback next to him leans forward and places a comforting hand on his knee. Cyril speaks up.
I would offer to show you La Chambre du dead body, but I should stay with my guests. Florence, perhaps you could play hotesse.
Absolutely pas. No offense, Georges, but this has nothing to do with me. I'm leaving.
Florence tries to walk out of the door, but the driver meets her there and blocks her path.
Think again. No one leaves until this is through.
Merde.
She walks back and sits at the table alongside 3 other guests, one of whom has remained hitherto silent. This is Marcel Marsopial, an anthropomorphic kangaroo whose face is painted like a mime artist.
I can show you to the room, mate.
The driver nods at Marcel, who gets up from his seat and bounces over to the door. Before leaving the room, the driver turns to address the crowd. She puffs up her chest and looks at each of the guests in turn. Seems like she's about to deliver a Poirot-style everyone here is a suspect speech.
Nobody fucking move.
The driver and Marcel leave the room. She closes the door firmly behind her. Interior Chateau hallway, day. At one end of the hall is a large red staircase. Alongside the stairs, the wall is lined with ancestral paintings of Basingstoke's past. Marcel bounces up 2 steps at a time, while the driver walks slowly behind.
So you think one of those drongos back there had something to do with Paul Roger getting whacked?
The driver doesn't respond. She takes out another cigarette and goes to light it. Marcel tries to find the mime for no smoking. He takes an imaginary cigarette out of his mouth and stubs it on his hand.
Siddler's not a fan of the Dirries, mate. You wouldn't want to see him crack the shits. He's different when he's angry.
The driver refrains from lighting the cigarette and pockets it instead. She looks Marcel over as he bounces to the top of the stairs and leads her down a corridor of rooms. Instead of following them, we linger on 2 of the portraits hanging on the wall. One depicts a man in Georgian clothing, the Earl of Dandringham, and the other is a woman in turn-of-century hunting gear, Jocasta Basingstoke. In the corner of the hunting portrait, a fox is cowering, surrounded by dogs. After a moment, the man turns to his side and addresses his co-hangee. Don't suppose you saw the bugger get nobbled, did you?
How do you think I'd manage that? I've been here with you this whole time.
The Earl shrugs his shoulders.
That said, I heard from upstairs that it was brutal.
Ooh, delicious. So, who do you think did the deed? Jocasta makes a show of looking around her to make sure no one else is listening in.
My money's on one of the Frenchies. Far too nonchalant when there's just been a murder.
Quite right. They should be more chalant, like the English. A nation that takes pride in their chalants.
Went more Scouse Beatles then, didn't I? It was more like in Ringo Starr.
Imagine.
It's all good. I think all the accents so far have been absolutely brilliant. But, Jocasta rolls her eyes. The fox in the painting looks sheepish, clearly deciding whether or not to speak up. He decides to go for it.
You know, I actually saw something a bit weird. That woman with the thick glasses was toing and froing up and down these stairs. The same night of the murder.
The Earl and Jocasta pause for a moment.
Shut up, you stupid witch.
Bugger off. The fox shakes his head despairingly, and then cowers as all 3 resume their frozen positions in the painting as someone walks up the stairs. However, before we see who it is, cut to interior chateau corridor, day. Marcel continues to lead the driver past various doors.
Why are you staying here?
There's a big gala at the town hall tomorrow, and I'm going to be...
Marcel mimes being trapped in a glass box.
performing.
He glances back at the driver, who stares at him impassively from behind her shades.
Oh wait, you don't seriously think I'm involved in this bloody nasty business, do you?
We'll see.
I'm a mime, for Christ's sake. What would I want to go and do a murder for?
We'll see.
You'll see in a minute that there's no way I could have done it. I don't have the dexterity.
Marcel suddenly springs back onto his tail and uses both feet to boot open a door. Interior chateau bedchamber day. The driver pauses at the door and then walks into the room. It is a lavishly decorated room. A 4-poster bed sits in its centre. A tapestry hangs on the wall, and a large antique wardrobe occupies the corner of the room. The driver pulls open the thin curtains hanging around the bed. Body lies underneath a white sheet. Marcel hangs back at the door and shouts over to the driver.
I hope you're not squeamish.
The driver glances back at Marcel, but he's already turned away when he's bouncing back down the corridor. She grabs the sheet and gently draws it down, revealing Roger Townsend, a man in his late 30s. His eyes and mouth are open wide, his hands are stiff at his sides. There's a huge gaping hole in his chest, blood and guts spilling out.
What a mess.
She reaches into the hole and pulls out various organs, tossing them indiscriminately to the side. She's searching for something specific. The intestines come out like the never-ending handkerchiefs from a magician's sleeve. Then a hand lands on something.
There you are.
The driver retrieves a small metal cube from Roger's body. There's a tiny black button on its surface. She taps it and suddenly all the blood and guts flicker and disappear. Instead, we see a tangled mess of cables and wires. The driver shakes her head.
Salvageable, but it won't be easy.
The driver takes out a phone and unclips the back of it. She taps it twice and dislodges 2 metal chips. They land on the bed and then quickly transform into tiny robots, which look up at her obediently. She points at the hole in Roger's chest.
Clean up this mess. I'll start up here.
The driver grabs Roger's head with both hands and with a firm pull yanks it off of the body. We hear a voice from elsewhere.
Let's just try and keep our heads.
Cut 2. Interior chateau kitchen day. Oak beams run across the ceiling of the kitchen. It's the same mix of antique and fancy furniture here, with modern additions like a fancy fridge and oven. There's a big pot of something bubbling on the cooker. In an alcove out of view, we hear a hushed conversation between 2 people, but don't see who it is.
You would say that. It's your fault things happened the way they did.
Don't do that. It was our idea. It's not my fault. I was the only one with the gumption to go through with it.
Whatever. It's all changed now. She's arrived anyway.
There is a sniffing sound.
Jesus. What is that?
What?
Your bloody breath reeks. Like a farm, I swear.
It's soup, you ass. It's the onion soup on the hob. Everything will be fine. We just keep our heads.
Interior chateau drawing room day. The room is mostly quiet apart from some idle chatter. At the table, Florence and Marcel are playing cards with Mr. and Mrs. Beige, a well-dressed couple in their 50s. By the fireplace, George talks conspiratorially with Hetty Gardner, a very lithe woman with an expressive face. Cyril stands next to Beryl, looking out of the window, gesticulating wildly. Also in the room are 4 other people we didn't meet earlier, who will remain nameless and shapeless for the next writer's enjoyment. The door bursts open as the driver enters the room holding the head of Roger Townsend. She grips it from his bushy greying hair. Stray wires trail out of his neck. There is a shocked cry as the guests in the room take stock.
I have some questions. Sorry.
That's all right. Sorry.
I have some questions.
The eyes of Roger's head swivel round as he too addresses the room.
You're not the only one.
Cut 2. A super late title card. But suddenly, a new saga. The driver.
Okay. Can you just pause for one super quick second?
Kind of perfect place to pause.
Ideal time to prepare.
Yeah.
Enjoying this, Bert. Intriguing.
Awesome,
Yeah,
buddy.
very intrigued. Very intrigued.
Yeah.
The Chateau murder mystery.
Yeah, Poirot-esque whodunit. It's
Love
great.
it. And it's still got like the elements of craziness that we're familiar with the kangaroo, who I love, and we'll make 5 episodes about.
Yeah, talking portraits. It's great.
Marcel, an origin is coming soon.
The clunky regional accents.
Oh my god.
Nailing the both.
Love it.
A Scouse I was fine with, but then as soon as I saw Australian, I was like, oh no, my kryptonite.
Apologies for that. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Okay. But suddenly, a new saga. Go.
Let's go. Interior chateau drawing room day. In the drawing room of Le Chateau de la Rouge Poisson, the patrons remain dumbfounded by the driver's entrance with Roger's head. George bursts into tears and runs out of the room from an entrance near the fireplace, Hetty following close behind.
Well, now, really, was there any need to make your entrance so dramatic? The poor sod's lost his, thought he'd lost his. Actually, I haven't the foggiest. Je ne comprends pas.
He's a bloody droid, you dingus, and he's made dronguses out of all of us.
He's gone heavier this time. He's gone heavier.
Roll with it.
Yeah, that's great.
Can't do it, so I'm just going to go heavy.
Sorry. A dingus? How vulgaire. You take that back, sir.
He has a bloody name, you know.
Crikey, Roger. Sorry if I'm coming across as a bit of a bogan. It's not every Avro you talk with a dead man who was defo human yesterday. Oh, you know, dead.
Isn't exactly a walk in the park for me either.
Mrs. Beige speaks up from the table, looking somewhat less shocked than the others. She addresses the driver, who turns to face her. Don't see why this should have to concern us any longer. There was a murder. You have the victim in your grasp, and unlike most murders, you can actually ask him what happened. The other patrons turn to face the driver, and Roger expectantly, waiting for the answer. The driver slowly tilts Roger's head forward and parts his hair, revealing a small square on the surface where the skin has been peeled back and a microchip is present.
Someone here has erased its memory from the last 2 days.
His memory. I'm right here.
So, l'assassin struck and then effaced de l'évidence.
We don't know that.
Come on, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Struth. Isn't it obvious?
Nothing's obvious. Most of you only found out it was a droid a few minutes ago.
Marcel and the others grudgingly accept this.
He was a droid. Still am.
Its memory was erased. A hole was put through its chest. These things might be related, but maybe not.
You're doing it on purpose now. What's your problem with droids, eh?
The driver growls in response and yanks Roger's head upright. She begins marching toward the fireplace, over to the door leading out of the room. Florence calls out from the table.
Wait, we're supposed to just sit here?
The driver pauses at the door.
Do whatever you like in the chateau, but you can't leave.
Don't worry. All guests can, of course, stay sans paiement while l'investigation is underway.
Florence sighs and turns back to her card game. The driver barges the door open hard.
I have some questions for your husband.
You and me both, love.
As they leave the room, we linger on the fireplace. There is something shiny crackling amongst the flames. It appears to be metallic. We move closer towards the metallic object until it fills the screen. Cut 2. Interior Chateau bedchamber day. As we pull back, we can see a similar metallic object inside of Roger's body in the bedchamber. The two robot workers are busily stitching together wires, soldering cables, working to patch up the cavity. After a few moments, they both pause and look at one another.
Are you getting much out of this?
You mean like job satisfaction?
Job dissatisfaction, more like. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
It is a bit boring.
Once you've seen one exploded droid, you've seen them all.
Apparently, there's people working on this thing called liquid metal. Harder to destroy.
Get right out of town.
Nah, honest, I swear down.
There's a scuffling sound and both robots quickly turn towards the door. We catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure. We can't decipher who it is. The robots look back at each other and shrug.
Back to the grindstone, I guess.
I guess so.
Both robots turn their attention back to Roger's body and continue their repairs.
That was loads of fun.
Exterior Chateau Grounds day. Outside the chateau, there is a well-kept lawn with marble statues at intervals alongside it. We all bear an uncanny resemblance to Cyril. There are beds of pretty flowers, a water feature, and at a distance from the chateau, a wooden gazebo. Interior Chateau Gazebo Day. George Townsend sits alone inside the gazebo, smoking. He scowls as he notices the driver walking towards him, holding Roger's head. The driver steps inside the gazebo, places Roger's head down on the table, and then leaves. However, she stands within earshot. There's an awkward pause, broken by Roger.
Keep telling you, those things will kill you.
George laughs suddenly, but there are tears in his eyes. He's clearly on the edge. He glances out at the driver and speaks in a quiet voice.
What the hell, Rog?
He reaches forward and runs a hand through Roger's hair, but he's clearly fighting conflicting feelings. He pulls his hand back.
I'm absolutely fuming. I don't even know what to say.
I know it's a lot.
Were you ever going to tell me?
I don't know. If I could help it. Is it such a big deal?
George scoffs and shakes his head in disbelief.
We were living a lie.
Roger looks downcast, pauses for a moment.
Our love wasn't a lie. All that time we spent together was real. I just worked differently inside than you thought.
Beautiful. Roger glances.
I'm feeling this, Phil, are you?
Roger glances at the driver outside the gazebo and then looks back at George.
Look, I think she's really bad news. I must talk about all this soon, but right now I need your help. I have no memory of the last 2 days.
Maybe that's for the best.
What?
Maybe it's best you don't know.
The driver re-enters the gazebo.
Right, that's enough. Me and you need a little chat.
Wait, I'm not done.
The driver reaches to the back of Roger's head and flicks a switch. His pupils flicker and fade away, leaving 2 off-white ovals. Noticing George's face, she speaks.
You're concerned. This thing spent years lying to your face about what it was.
He was still my husband.
Relax. It's just powered down. Now, tell me where you were last night.
George is about to answer when suddenly.
Nice.
Very nice.
I have been waiting for ages for someone to go murder mystery. I love it.
Yeah, I really love it. I've been on like a massive kick of murder mystery recently as well, so that's satisfied an itch for me. I'm so.
There you go, Burge.
grateful
You've kicked off a year's worth of a murder mystery for you there.
Hell yeah!
I kind of hope it just never gets resolved now. It's just gonna like roll on.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. We should set it as a challenge where like literally like whoever resolves it loses. So it just like carries on and on.
Find like convoluted
Try
ways
and find
not to,
any nook not to solve it.
Day 500 in the Chateau House.
I love it though. I love it because it's like it's your traditional sort of like closed room murder mystery with robots, anthropomorphic animals, and paintings that can come to life. So I'm very, very chuffed.
Tiny robots.
Tiny robots, which I love. Tiny robots will forever feature. They're like the new Ardius and Skimp for me. I will happily write 1,000,000 pages of those 2 tiny robots. And Phil will kill them in episode 4.
That's really good.
Loved
Burge.
it.
Really liked it.
Really, really good, bud.
Certainly enjoyed
Totally enjoyed
Cyril with the
Yeah.
overblown pronunciation. So
Yeah,
It's a
I
great,
really
great
liked that.
performance.
Excellently done by Adam. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, like, what's like? Give us like. So the roll call is Cyril, who seems
a
to
lot
be the
of people.
owner and like the proprietor of the establishment.
Yeah, I figured he's like one of these kind of, like really rich people with like a big house, but he's not actually got that much money, so he has to run the house as a kind of
Tourist type thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Then there's
Can I give a
George.
quick compliment to Phil's French, by the way, mate? When you said you could speak French, mate, that was great. You
That
read
wasn't
one
really-
line, I was like, it was beautifully done.
I had no idea what I was saying, but I enjoyed it.
No, there was one line you said, and I was like, fucking fair play. Wait, we're supposed to just sit here? And I was like, oh my God, Phil, yes. Like, no more takes. You got it in one, bud. So, yeah, sorry, Burge, I interrupted you.
no, you go for it. I was talking over you anyway. The roll call. Yeah.
Roll call, yeah. No, so George, as you were going to say, Burge, Scouse, husband to a robot that has been murdered, chest cavity, and memory erased. We have
Roger,
Cheryl.
the deceased.
Roger, the deceased, who can communicate freely.
Who's
We
an
have
android.
who's an android, yeah.
Pitch Perfect, Sean Bean as well. Love it.
You might as well just put Sean Bean in brackets.
We had like a mysterious throwaway snake element at the start, which I loved. Very throwaway. Is there any characters I'm missing? The Frenchie, Florence.
Beryl, at
Oh, there's
one
an
point.
old lady.
Yeah.
Well, Beryl Bainbridge, is that not Old Nan?
It's up now.
On a holiday.
I forgot about that. I was thinking like Bainbridge.
Bainbridge, I know that name from somewhere.
I got that straight away, Burge.
I was as well.
I was blanking hard.
Nice little crossover there.
Great
reference. And we had Marcel, Kangaroo.
Marcel Beale.
Yeah.
Marcel Beale is so good. Yeah. How much kind of a pat on the back did you give yourself when you came up with Marcel Beale?
Well, basically, I was like thinking of French names, and I was like Marcel, and then I was like Peel.
Yeah. So simple.
Yeah. And then there's Mr. and Mrs. Beige.
Yep.
But I think then there's 4. Oh, and Hetty, who we didn't really find out much about her. She was just sat with George.
And then the unnamed, unseen 4 as well.
Yeah. So then there's 4 that are unseen. So
you had Costa and Earl at one point as well. That was in the show, wasn't it?
They were the paintings, and the fox.
The fox,
which gives it like a cool little historical element as well, which is like awesome. I really quite like that. Like you can it's just really it's awesome. It's such a good idea, mate. Oh, you nailed it. Because firstly, Bresserfesher, I was really I'm glad that my episode led to something different, because I was really hoping that whoever took it next would literally take it somewhere completely different. I know I set it up with the 5 at the end, but I also had Obobobolosh running off and stuff, and I was like, okay, I really hope that they just they fuck with it a lot, and you nailed it. Miss Murder Mystery is my bag, 1000%, and the fact that I think it's the episode that is the most considerate for the following writer, because you left so much room for the next writer to play with, which is a really, really cool thing to do.
I just thought, so firstly, I thought, you left it in a really good place that I could have carried on with the 5 and kept going, but I sort of felt if I did, I'd probably just end up taking it somewhere similar to where we've been before.
Yeah.
It would be the same story again from me anyway. So I wanted to do something like a big departure to maybe set up a new story arc. I put the title card in the middle, a new but suddenly saga. Doesn't the next person could just go, fuck it, actually I'd prefer to write about the 5 or whatever. I don't really mind. It's just the options there to dig into this new area and world.
So go on.
No, Phil. So you go.
I was going to say, just regards to what you've done with it so far. Do you have anything in mind for where it might be going, or is that just completely?
A little bit, but I like the idea of starting a murder mystery in which I don't know who the killer is.
Just planting seeds and having
I thought, that's the great thing about this, is that because we're taking it in turns, we probably the person who resolves the murder is going to be the only one who knows who it is, which is kind of a hilarious way to write a murder mystery.
I really like the concept of because we started it, and obviously we just started it was a new thing for us, and we started it last year, so it was an anniversary. But we started it, and it went, because it was open, and with superhero stories can go absolutely anywhere. They can branch absolutely anywhere. So we branched it over to timelines, and we went absolutely bananas with it. But I really like the idea of carrying on a story where we're always in the Chateau de la Rouge Poisson. Yeah. Is that right?
Castle of the Red Fish.
Castle of the Red Fish.
Which I fucking love. So it's I like the idea that all episodes going forward, if you wanted to do an aside or if you want to do something else, you'd have to figure out a way to sort of do it through the lens of that place, because essentially it's been established we're not leaving this place, and I love it. I love that idea. I really, really like it.
I'm glad.
Awesome. And it's nice.
Yeah, hope the person who comes next is happy with it. And
cue the wheel.
Yeah.
Cue the wheel. I'm gutted I'm not on this fucking wheel. Yeah, Luke, hit me with a... Oh, no, there's no sound effect for this one. But yeah, hit me one then anyway. Luke, now sound effect me.
Meow, 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 meow.
Perfect sound effect. Perfect sound effect.
Wheels in motion.
So we have...
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, we have... It's just slowly spinning. Where will it go? We don't know. We've got 2 people left for this session. We had like a kind of like a mid season change. So I think we can properly realistically call this season 3 now. And we just start season 3 with 2 options left, and then like at least it lends itself to more episodes for this season, which I'm very happy for. So Phil or Luke, it is either of you. Both of you are fine to do it, I imagine. No.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Luke?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Give it hands on you.
So I'm interested to see how Luke brings actual tilt into the Chateau de la Poisson.
Truth be told, if it is me, I'm going to definitely continue with this storyline. I love it.
Oh, mate, I'm glad of it. I think it could like, and this is my instinct to putting rules to things that I hate. I hate this aspect about me, but I like the idea that like a little voice in the back of our heads, and it's mostly for me because I'm the worst for it, is to like just continue the story as appropriate. Y'all don't introduce time travel to the Rouge Passon Chateau. I'm gonna fucking write that on my arm. Anyway, let's spin.
It's definitely the scope for it. Going a bit crazy.
Don't give me that, Phil.
We've got talking paintings.
Maybe not in the second one.
I'm gonna rein it in. I am very much gonna rein it in. I promise you. Anyway, spin.
The same universe.
Yeah, it's the same universe. So.
Luke.
It's you, Philly.
It's a Philly.
It's not stopped yet,
It's
Phil.
a Philly.
Now it's stopped.
We have a winner. Phil.
I'm quite pleased with that, actually. I'm excited to get into that.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm thoroughly.
Although, yeah, it's always a tough act to follow, though. I mean, you're all tough acts to follow, but yeah.
Yeah. I can make.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking to myself because like I made like a crazy timeline for the original saga, as we calling it. Like the original saga had a crazy timeline. Maybe this one I could just make like a list of suspects. We could just have like pictures
or a map, like a Cluedo.
Yeah, we need like strings joining.
Yes, absolutely.
I already feel like I need to do that to like piece together where I'm going to take it. I need to like read the script about 3 more times and just kind of get a feel for.
There's like loads of the chateau that I didn't like. I just kind of, it was only the kitchen, the bedroom, one bedroom, the hallway, and the living room.
The room with the portal to another dimension as well. That's
yeah, and the spaceship in the background.
Back to the 5.
The test subject team
and then the
room.
Debonair turned up. Everyone was really happy with
Iolo steps into the chateau.
Yep, that'll be it. No, I'm gonna be loyal. I'm going to be a good narrator.
Were you guys like happy with your characters, Luke? I know, like I get it, like the driver's sort of the main character, but I know she doesn't speak very much. That was okay.
No, that was fine. I got that. I'm just a bit cream crackered today, and I was just missing my cues. I embarrassed myself. I'm just a bit crackered. So no, I got it though. It was good. I just wish I'd have gone a bit more badass with it and a bit more. I don't know. I regret not going Ellen Ripley.
The initial snake read put you off, I think.
Yeah, I set myself up for. I was ready with a snake-like voice, and then I was like, I'm going to do a snake-like voice.
Who are you, Burge? I feel like you can dole enough characters for yourself.
Well, I just figured there'd be like, because there's people that we haven't really got into, so.
Nameless, shapeless individuals, as you said.
I'll find you a nice one, Burge.
Just because there was a lot of scene description, I didn't want to also take like one of the main characters that it's just like me.
There's some lovely scene setting descriptors actually. So nice.
Yeah, your descriptors were awesome, mate. I was like, I would read the fuck out of that if it was a book.
It was just because it was setting up something new, so I wanted to
get the tone,
distinguish it. Absolutely, it'd be really interesting to write. I feel it'd be like a really cool like writing practice and like just like a cool thing to write where you just like go like a bit more like prosy in the scene descriptions. I quite like it. Ace, me. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I will set myself a 2-week target for it.
But I just want everyone to remember the slight that Burge has done against us with all the accents. He made
Well, yeah,
French,
don't he?
Australian and Scouse Cyclops. So, you know, like, I wouldn't fault you, Phil, for introducing a character that spoke solely in rhymes and, like, had an Irish accent or something.
I'd love the rhymes.
Yeah,
That'd be hilarious.
Speaks in
Irish
limericks.
rhyming couplets. Johnny Couplet. Yeah, anyway, that was very, very enjoyable, mate. Good job.
Really good, man. Really good.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellently done. So, Phil, we're on schedule for 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks? Yeah. That's the plan, yeah. Run out that on Sunday.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds good.
Super
Anything else?
important.
Any other point? Anything else? Anyone else?
Any other business?
Business?
Jinx.
Yeah.
Jinx mirror, no return padlocks.
I shall release the Jinx in the next script, so you can't speak until your role.
Right, well, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks or 1 week, depending on what we decide to do. Bye.
Toodaloo.